is each soul really unique, or are we just distortions to be processed?
All these ideas are the translations into human language. Because the human current language, let's say, has a logic in it. So it's kind of more structured. And we can try to transfer kind of the message, okay, there is this individual soul, there's a collective. Well, I see everything as a cluster of collective consciousness, but there are different clusters. And so the higher consciousness, let's say some beings which had already evolved through years in ancient times, through thousands of years, and they've evolved out of this human experience in the human body. Maybe the human body was also a different type of body. So those beings are not anymore as individuals. So when some ignorant people say that they channel some ascended masters or some kind of ancient souls and stuff, they're literally hallucinating. What they're doing, they're communicating with entities which are all over. Because these entities may present themselves as whatever. Can you check that? Can you for sure say, yes, I'm communicating with Jesus or with Muhammad or with whoever? So there's a lot of ignorance, and kind of the spiritual information is the true spiritual information is kind of self-born. It is not outside, not outwards. Because if your vessel, if your body, or your vessel, it's not just about the body, your consciousness is pure, because that's the only way to know. The more pure is the vessel, the more you are able to connect with the higher clusters of consciousness and realize things within yourself. So that's also the essence of Parampara and the Siddha Parampara. The names don't matter, the principle matters. So if your consciousness is refined, you will know within. That's why all the true knowledge is only self-born. It cannot be known by books or by reading or retelling someone else's information. If you are not sure, question it, experience it, and then say, yes, I do now. So here, there are different clusters of consciousness as I perceive it, as I got to know through my own being. And there are different also types of entities that incarnate also at this time, in time of Kali Yuga. Because every age is for different type of conscious clusters, let's say, for them to have human experience. Through this human experience, they're like on a evolutionary playground where they're able to refine themselves and maybe evolve further or share some knowledge. Every time, every era offers different type of lessons and experiences. Experience of the earth, again, is very neutral, but the way each individual soul, once being embodied here, takes that experience depends on their evolutionary level. Either they get tangled in it and continue this process, or they just experience and go. So all these man-made ideas of suppression of creative flow of self or sexuality or other things, or suppression of this, suppression of that, austerities and stuff, this is already Kali Yuga man-made practices, which were irrelevant in other days and times. So at this day and age, there are different type of souls incarnating here, and this is their time. So we cannot say it's wrong or it's right or it's punishment or it's this. This is just by that kind of higher consciousness mutual decision, or the higher cluster, or the bigger cluster in which we all are part of, that now is on earth the best conditions for that type of experience. And so those type of maybe souls which are of a lower consciousness incarnating in order to have now at this point of time their turn to have human experience. And so when they have that experience, they process reality differently. And again, their contribution to the collective human consciousness now is also unique. And yet the majority decides what the collective resonance is, right? Or the vibration. I mean, words are kind of lost in here because it's so much subtle. But everything is waves, different frequencies, different subtlety and density of waves. That's why, so we have created this emotional field. So there is a current active emotional thought field, which is one type of waves, which are supported by the current entities and souls, like you say, which are incarnated here. And then there are other realms which had been created earlier, which also exist on their frequency and with their waves. And so this knowledge is only for, it's very difficult to kind of process it through the logic mind, because it either has to be someone's experience or knowledge, or they shouldn't go into it until they actually get that maturity to understand how this all plays out. Because even sharing this knowledge is sort of may lead some people to, again, speculation and delusion and developing other theories. Whatever we hear and all these theories, they again become that entertaining illusion, like you said, because whatever you listen, it maybe enriches you, but unless it gives you that experience, unless you are a part of that and it becomes a part of your consciousness realization, it's just a theory, it's just a, fart in the wind. That's all. So the key point in any evolution is to integrate the knowledge into the experience and also into the being. Because many people say we have these spiritual experiences. So what? You have all kinds of experiences. Through the physical body, we're able to have all kinds of experiences. We can also have experiences out of the physical body. But so what? That doesn't make any difference. No one is any special. The difference is when you are connected with the root and you realize what is what, step by step, without rushing, without trying to fill in the gap or the emptiness, without having all these power trips and desire to get enlightenment over a weekend. So then it becomes a true soul learning process on the planet Earth, when you're not denying any experience, but you dive into this experience and you are able to, as easily as you dived in, to abandon this experience, so let go and move on to the next moment. Like goose's feathers are not affected by the water. So the same you are. If you are affected, it means that experience leaves an impression. It means this impression may manifest sometime in the future. So it means you already got corrupt in some way. On the way. So the point is to be here on earth, to learn the way we can, and to let go of the experience and move on and have other experiences. The problem is it's only possible like this when your consciousness, individual, is connected to the higher being. Otherwise, the individual consciousness does not have its individual kind of independent capacity to see it that way. And so every time it dives in, it stays there, it tangles, it creates some other entanglements within that experience or through that experience, and it gets kind of muddled and it cannot go further. And so it drags that experiences, impressions onto a new experience, and so it becomes like a constant mud. That's what the awakened person is trying to refine the this habit of clinging, craving for the experiences, clinging onto experiences. Because the awakened mind sees how this process of clinging and craving happens, because they start being conscious in the experience. They do not deny the experience. That's what matters to understand. And I don't know, I deviated a bit from the question of souls, but I think that I've kind of tried to give like a generic idea. I don't want to even go into details because it can be mind-blowing for some individual minds, but all that is irrelevant for our current human experience. And what we have to focus on is our day-to-day life. Every step you take, be conscious about it. That's all what matters now for this current day and age evolution.